You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, Errrything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia. Wole and Mo are your hosts. Ray Jeezy is out. Joining us, as you can see, this is a star. First of all, this is a star. Joining us as a guest is an award-winning sports reporter, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. She's also the host of Listen In with KNN. Kelsey, what's up? And welcome to All Burgundy and Go Errrything with the urban sports scene.
Oh, I love it. See, I know I'm in family when I hear Errrything, and when I'm from the area, so that makes me feel good. And when I'm in good company, I'm a happy person. But let me tell you, it's an honor to be on. I was trying to think, I don't know if this is my first time, but that introduction, first time. All right, so my inaugural debut, so I can't mess it up, y'all. So I'm excited. We're gonna have fun. I'm in D&B company. We're talking the football team. Football is so close to regular season, so I'm in good spirits, honestly. Again, just thank you for having me on. We're gonna have fun because we always do, and hopefully this won't be the last time on. All right, so I gotta make you proud.
Well, wait. It's not gonna be the first. It's not gonna be the only time. Now, let's not go there. It's not going to. We're not doing that.
The pressure is on.
You know what I'm saying? No, there's no pressure. All right, you will be on. Okay, let's not get it twisted. All right. I'm glad you appreciate the You know how I had to when we came up with the name.
We understand it.
All right, cool.
D&B natives understand that. And so not everybody understands when I say that. They don't understand our language. So again, when I know I'm amongst family, I can be myself. We're gonna ball out and have fun and talk about this football team that we've been rooting for a long time. That seems like it's finally starting to turn the corner.
Seems like it. Kelsey, before we get into all that good talk, could you tell our listeners about Listen In with KNN?
Of course, I'd be excited to. So Listen In with KNN is my podcast, radio show. Everyone should definitely check it out. I started about 3 years ago, which is like crazy to believe. And when I started it, it was essentially just to create a voice for me, right? I was born and raised in the DMV area, but didn't get to see enough people that look like myself on sports talk radio. And I have a lot of opinions, all right? I come from a strong Southern Black family. So, I was raised to always talk about what I think. And so when I made my podcast, it was just something, again, for me to have a platform. I named it Listen In with KNN because essentially it was for listeners to just listen in with me and have a conversation with me. And that's what it is. Every show I have a special guest that joins me. And I'll tell you, I've been blessed to have just an amazing network of guests. My first ever guest was Brian Mitchell. So I kind of started the bar high. I used to work with B. Mitch when it was Comcast Sportsnet Washington. Yeah, it's very high, very high. We had high expectations. And then, it just kind of went from there. I just did a show earlier with Tara Holloway. She is the VP of Football Operations for the National Football League. We talked about all of their great NFL initiatives. I'll be recording soon with Amari Bailey, the number one pick, our number one player right now in high school. Awesome. And, it's got Drake giving them some cool things and stuff like that. So, we just have fun on the show, and I welcome people from all types of sports. I just had my first rugby player on. Coming up, I'll have the first Black coach and the National Football League African-American coach in Colette B. Smith. So again, we just kind of highlight these stories. We've had people, Amari Stoudemire, pretty much anyone you can think of. I just invite them on to chop it up with me and have a conversation with me. And it's been great. It's been incredible, the stories that have come. So everyone should check it out. Get it on podcast platforms. It's available on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. And then also check out my live stream show every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and every Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Always have a new special guest joining me. And I'm telling you all, you're part of the show. Ask your questions, put your comments in, and we're going to have a good time. That's what we do on my show. We talk for about an hour, and we just we let the conversation flow, right? It's just a natural back and forth, find out about their life, find out about their thoughts on current topics. And we just go from there.
And when you're streaming live, where are you streaming from? What platform?
So I use StreamYard because I think StreamYard is simple, easy. I had done Ecamm before. I'm not sure if people have used Ecamm. It's for Macs, and Ecamm is actually super nice too. I feel like StreamYard is just the easiest one because everyone knows how to use it. And just hit the link and put your name in it, and then boom, you're on stage. Even though I'll tell you, some of my older guests love them to death, but I'll have to call them before the show and kind of walk them through it to make sure. And you just got to make sure you have strong Wi-Fi. But look, pay your bills and you keep that strong Wi-Fi and you on the show.
And it's on the Fox and it streams on the Fox Facebook page.
Right. Yep. So everyone has to check it out. Right. We're on the same station. So you definitely have to check it out. But again, it's super fun, laid back, but we also aren't afraid to shy away from difficult conversations or difficult topics. All right. It's a conversation. When we come on, we're just going to kind of let it flow. And so if there's something happening in the world, it needs to be talked about. And that's what the show is, a place where everyone can come listen, get their questions answered, and really hear from some of the old time greats, but also some of the up and coming newcomers that everyone should know about.
Yeah, I've seen Kelsey show a number of times. She had a Nigerian brother. She had Christian Okoye, the
I
Nigerian
did
nightmare.
have Christian Okoye. He
You know
was
what I mean? I thought it was
incredible and
dope.
amazing.
That was dope. I wanted to talk about some jollof rice. You know what I mean? And all that good jazz. You know what I mean?
I love it. I love
I used to
it.
play
Yes,
with
you
them
asked the question during the show.
I did. Sure did. I
Remember.
sure did. I used to use that guy
man,
on Tecmo Bowl when I was younger. I love Christian Okoye.
Sounds like I'll be tuning in.
Yeah, you should be, man.
Check it out.
Mo, you got to, bro.
Listening with me.
You got to. Hey, also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Gold Errrything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. All right, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. Again, we're going to talk about the final cuts for the Washington football team. All right, so yesterday went down. After many cuts, the team finally got down to 53. The team cut last year's defensive contributor, I won't say all-star player or Pro Bowler, contributors, in cornerback Jimmy Moreland and also Jeremy Reeves. Did you see that? Do you see that coming, Kelsey?
Yes, I think Jimmy Moreland was the one that got a lot of us. And I'll tell people, when I started working with the Washington football team last season, Jimmy Moreland was my first ever interview that I had. Such a great sport, such a great guy. And I think that's why we all love Jimmy, right? That's why he was the people's corner and a fan favorite. And I think people had always rooted for Jimmy because his entire career, he had been undersized, pretty much been an underdog. And I feel like those are the type of people that we resonate with as fans. Because honestly, in underdogs, I think many of us see a version of ourselves in it, right? Many of us consider ourselves underdogs in our respective industries. And I think, we knew the competition was stiff, and I've been saying this all week on shows. When you're looking at Washington's defense, I just have to say it, our secondary, it was okay. Nothing to write home about. And I would say it was honestly quite suspect. Everyone knows our defensive front can bring the pressure, can bring the heat. And that's what the whole league is talking about. But if you look next door to the Baltimore Ravens, we don't have Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphreys in that secondary, right? We don't have those big names. That's not to say that he couldn't do a job well done. But I think Washington is really looking at what they did last season. They should definitely be able to repeat. And I think they can definitely win as NFC East Division champions, because I'm sorry, I'm not trusting that shoulder of Dak. There's too many questions going around, and Cowboys fans, simmer down. We still have a lot to see. I know y'all are still excited about Hard Knocks. The Eagles are still figuring out a lot of different questions. We're figuring Zach Ertz and, does he really want to be there? The quarterback situation. I'm rooting for Jalen Hurts. And then honestly, the Giants, I'm not like super freaked out about. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. Saquon Barkley, okay. He's a beast, but I think honestly, quite frankly, we have to see what's going to be put down on the football field. So I think Washington knows they're in a prime place to repeat and hopefully do better than they did last season. And last season was a shock to us all. Everyone saw this team as like not doing much. And I think for Jimmy to be just not a part of that in terms of like that final roster. And I know we saw the practice squad roster come out today, but it was just a surprise again, because I think everyone loves Jimmy. We love his story. Again, I got to talk to his parents last year and just talk about just his journey to the National Football League, his little daughter. Everything just kind of went full circle. But I think fans just saw the grind that he put in. So I think that was the big surprise, because it was just the name I think that we weren't expecting to see first at all. You guys were surprised too, right? When you saw Jimmy.
Man, I definitely was surprised.
I mean, the competition was stiff, but I was like, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was surprised, but I was surprised. I mean, he didn't. So I'm honest. So I root for Jimmy. Like I rooted for Jimmy because I just like this. Like you said, I like his story.
His story, right? That's why he was the corner.
I like that. I'm a fan of when you're in college, you produce. He produced in college. Yeah. Even and being a guy, a late round pick. Fought to be on this team because he made plays. That's how he got on this team. He made plays in camp. He made plays in preseason. And in the regular season, I mean, his first year, he was solid. Even his second year, he was solid. I thought in this preseason, I will say I saw him struggle a little bit more than I've ever seen him struggle, especially the last preseason game against the Ravens. He was getting beat. And I think that when you're playing that long, you start playing against third stringers.
Yeah, you can't have that.
That's
that
game
did not help our defense at all. I mean, Baltimore put on a clinic. Let's just talk about it on the Washington football team. They were riding high in Baltimore after that game. And Baltimore, honestly, from that preseason team, they were looking like a Super Bowl contender team. And that's not what you want if you're a defensive player in Washington.
Especially if you're Jimmy. If you're Jimmy and you're a guy that was pretty much, the starter. You were the starting nickel last year. So arguably you were on the starting unit because you're nickel. Right. Nickel nowadays is the starter. And you were getting beat. So now it's like, all right, well, and then you're playing that long. That tells me, okay, this coaching staff is saying you're in trouble. You need to play to see if you can even make this ball club. So, I mean, when the writing was on the wall, I even tweeted after the game, I was like, Is Jimmy going to be cut? Like that's an asking for a friend because I didn't really want to put that energy out there.
Always asking for the friend.
Asking for a friend. So it was just like because you could kind of see it. But yeah, I was still surprised because of the people that made it over him playing secondary. You know what I mean? Like that's why I was more surprised. Some of the names that were over Jimmy and the excuses that I heard about why, which I'm not really going to buy. I'm not buying it because to me, people say versatility. They play multiple positions and they can, and that's the reason why you want to, they'll go that route. But at the end of the day, if you're not good at those versatile positions, if you're not good, then it doesn't really matter. Like you have to be good at something for you to say to use the versatility card. Anybody can be. I can play this, that, and the other. I can play baseball, I can play basketball, and I can play football, and I can be garbage in all of them. Does that make me versatile? You know what I mean? I may play decent, but I can be garbage. I'm not versatile. No, I just play it. I'm just not versatile. So it is what it is. So, but I was surprised at Jimmy myself. Mo, what about yourself?
I think that it was a surprise in the fact that Jimmy was, by PFF standards, the third-ranked slot corner last year.
Very high ranked.
Very, very high ranked, very beloved in the area. But when you looked at how they were trying to assemble this team, they brought in 3 players at his position this year. Right, we know that Kendall Fuller has slot experience,
right,
and then the safety McCain also has slot experience. There's a lot of versatility and size. Once they move Troy Apke to the corner, we know that he's one of the better special teams performers. Right, Jimmy doesn't give you that value, one, because of his stature, and that's not what he plays. Like the writing was on the wall because McTyre's had a good. Is it McIntyre?
No, you McTyre. You're right. McTyre's good.
McTyre's had a good camp. I went up to FedEx Field for the night practice that they had in game. He played well there. I mean, De'Ami Brown had his pick of the litter on everybody, but he played solid. St. Juice has been pretty solid, and St. Juice gives you the length that you want on the outside. So you kind of knew that he would cement the position one way or another. Now, if I'm going to move Kendall Fuller into my slot, there's really no room for Jimmy anymore, right? Because he doesn't give me special teams value, even though he's a fan favorite and he was successful last year. So now you have bigger players at his position, right? That can come in and give this defense another element and make it harder to beat them over the top because the secondary wasn't always the strongest to go with this pass rush. And it just seemed like, even though it was a surprise to a lot of people, it made good football sense.
I will say this from Mo, because Mo, you mentioned Apke about special teams, because even B Mitch, because I tweeted this and B Mitch agreed with me. That's why I knew I wasn't alone. Like this is what I'm talking. That's why I mentioned you could be versatile, but you still got to be good and being versatile. B Mitch said this. A Hall of Fame special teamer said that I watch Apke, and he plays special teams, but he ain't that good. He said he ain't that good. He said that.
Let me rebuttal.
Go ahead.
Coach Rivera
said that he was good. I know he said he was one of the best.
He said he was one of the best.
Look. If you like somebody, look. If I like somebody, I'll say whatever I want to say.
Right. And if the coach is like you, you're doing the right thing. It doesn't matter what everybody else is saying. I will say this though: if somebody like you, it don't matter. It don't matter.
Like he said that Dustin Hopkins is a good kicker, and it doesn't matter. Like he likes him. It is what it is. I'm not knocking Dustin Hopkins because I've always said this. He's a nice guy, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to, like, when we talk about, like, what Coach Rivera says, he's going to say what he needs to say. Factual, he could do whatever he wants. If he feels like he's on it, that's fine. But I'm just saying that what Apke does, and you move him to corner, what he does, it ain't like he's the Shazer Everett. The Shazer Everett is a very good special teamer. Like, he has a captain. He has a C on his chest for a reason. Like, he is the captain. He's a good special teamer. Troy Apke, solid, but he's so bad at, I'm sorry, I can say it, I don't care. He's so bad at corner, bad at safety. He's decent as a special teamer.
See,
and Jimmy, no, but Jimmy is the thing. When Jimmy came, so your point, when Jimmy was playing teams, so if you want to, when Jimmy was playing teams when he first started, Jimmy was solid. Jimmy was good too at teams. Jimmy was a good gunner. I know he's the size, he was a good gunner because Jimmy could tackle for a small boy. He's a good gunner, and in practice, went under the different regime, he was a decent returner. Jimmy can play teams. I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna use teams as the thing, I'm like, yo, bruh, like, Hey, I mean,
Wole.
Teams you can play, but you gotta at least play corner or safety, something good.
If you give me 5'8", 5'9" versus 6'1" and 6'2",
man, AI was 6 foot. AI was 6 foot and giving folks buckets, and they over 6'6" dudes.
I'm gonna tell you what most basketball coaches tell people. One AI. Okay,
I love it.
Look, man, I'm telling you, I don't want to use size, man, because you got some trash dudes who tall. I don't even want to use.
That's true, though. That's why it matters. And I would say, honestly, it matters the dog, right? It matters
right? Yeah, the dog.
I think some small people do incredible things, and it's like, right, I'd rather have a smaller guy if the tall guy isn't doing anything.
See, Kelsey just said it, though. That's what I'm saying. She just said the term, that dog. Like, Jimmy's small, but he got a dog in him. He got a dog in him.
Look at this regime, Wole. Every move that they've made has had versatility stamped on it. Every move that this regime has made, right? The guy can play corner. The guy can play safety.
It's true.
The guy is a special teamer on the gunner on both sides of the special teams, right?
Yeah.
So what you think versatility is elite or not? He's versatile. Is a little bit more versatility there.
He's versatile.
That's who they went with, man.
It's a term. It's a term that's being thrown out. It's a problem. That's my problem. It's just thrown out. Versatility. He's versatile. I just know when I use the term versatile, I mean it means that you're good at everything. You're good at those things.
You know what? But I would counter that. I think versatile means you can do different things. I'd say maybe multidimensional means you can do different things and you're good at those different things, right? Like I feel like when I say that's how I feel. Like if I say somebody's
versatile, okay, you know what, y'all? He's versatile being bad. Okay, it is what it is. All right, it is what it is. He's versatile being bad. I'm sorry, Troy. You're here. Listen to the show. I can't lie.
Y'all are mean.
I try not to. I just can't lie to you, Troy. I'm sorry. I just can't lie to you. Man. I'm sorry.
I also think that they thought that there was a hope that he would come back to the practice squad.
I think so too.
But I think he's too good, right?
Yeah, I do. I think he's too good.
So speaking of the practice squad, right? We segue to another player. Wide receiver Antonio Gandy Golden, right?
Yeah.
He was released and then picked up on the practice squad. What are your thoughts on this move, Kelsey?
Yeah, I think AGG was this player that we all just kind of wanted to root for again and see develop. And I know last season, of course, injuries plagued him. I had a chance to talk to his Liberty University coach last season, and we talked about how great he was there, but we didn't get to see it, I think, on the professional level. And I think when we finally did get to see glimpses in the preseason, it was a little bit too little too late when you had so much development. And you talk about who Washington's brought in. Look at our wide receivers core. And this is why I don't get why people are trying to pass by this Washington football team. We have solid receivers in Washington. Terry has help. He doesn't have to carry the whole load, which I think makes it great. And if I'm Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm looking around like, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. If my offensive line can hold up, I feel pretty good about who I can throw it to. And I think AGG, again, I think we like him, but we didn't know how fast that development would be. And we're talking about a Washington team, going back to my point before, that's ready to win. That's ready to do something within the NFC East. And I think they need sure-handed people that they can count on and trust. And I think with AGG, unfortunately, we just didn't know if that consistency would be there. And that consistency in football is huge. I don't care, how great you look on paper when I need you in big games, you're not able to catch the football. And let's be honest, we're looking at a National Football League where you do need sure-handed wide receivers. I think, honestly, I've seen too many drop balls from what we call good receivers. That's your job, catch the football. But again, I like Antonio Gandy Golden. I still think he has a pretty bright future, but I do think he's going to have to really put that work in. And I think, when you go to that next level in the National Football League, that transition is not easy for everyone. It's just not. It's not easy for everyone. You're playing with grown men who are going to make your job very difficult. So I think that one I wasn't as surprised about, but I think, again, because fans really liked him, another one that was just kind of like, man, we didn't even hardly get to see him. We wanted the Gandy Golden jerseys, right? Like we wanted to rock those at games. And I think now we just feel a little bit more heartbroken. But yeah, I think he's somebody that there's still a bright spot. But yeah, I think with who we have in Washington right now, and look, we got Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's a veteran. We brought him in for a short-term deal. We want to make this short-term hopefully be something that's long-lasting this football season. So again, Ryan Fitzpatrick needs some sure-handed people that can catch the football.
Mo, were you surprised he was in the practice? Were you surprised, Mo?
I was.
Okay.
I didn't think that Dax Milne was better than him.
Yeah,
I didn't think he was better than him, but I think that there's an element that he provides. It's hard to make a football team after being the fourth, like after the number 4 spot, if you don't play special teams or if you don't contribute to special teams. But Milne does that, right? I hope I'm saying his name right, Dax. He has a special team element in terms of returning that's there. I thought that they would go with AGG because of the big body, the big frame, and him being a different type than everybody else. And we know that Cam Sims is on there, but we've seen Cam Sims already, right? We've seen Cam Sims in some moments, and some people have been disappointed by what Cam Sims has provided, and knowing that he's been on this team since the other regime, about 4 years, right? So I was definitely surprised. I thought he was starting to come on. I thought he started to get his mojo back. He got that number 11 on his back after Alex left. You know what I mean? He was walking a little bit more. He was going up on some people. He was going up on people that can't, man. Going up. And that's the element of his game that nobody else on this team has. That he can go up and he can cause some real damage on that 50-50 ball. And I thought with Fitzpatrick being the quarterback, loving to throw that 50-50 ball and Fitzpatrick loves tall wide receivers. His best years have been with a tall wide receiver, right? You see what he did with Devontae Parker, turned Devontae Parker into a respectable guy 1 year, a couple of seasons down in Miami. Him and Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall was all
Mike Evans,
Mike Evans, helped Mike Evans continue his streak and whatnot. So even though Mike Evans is elite,
he's already elite. No, he's already elite. Better you saying,
for sure, Mike Evans.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought that there was room there. I was kind of surprised that he came back and joined the practice squad.
Oh, I knew he would, though.
I thought that he would bet on himself and try to go get. I think that when you're a player that's on the cusp, if your talent can't make it on a team like the Washington football team, I thought that he would go seek a better quarterback situation where they would make him better. So I was kind of surprised that he joined the practice squad, even though he got cut.
I would say I wasn't surprised. It's only to the point where what Kelsey was referring to is that his rookie year, because there was no real camp and he was hurt, he didn't really show enough. He didn't get to show enough. And also this season, I mean, he didn't get to show anything anyway in preseason. Not like he got a lot of tape on him making special plays in preseason. So he's still pretty hidden. And a lot of times, as you know this, Mo, could be watching another team, you may be watching your team, you're a Giants fan. So you're watching the Giants, right? And you see like this wide receiver, and you're like, oh, this person has potential, but you're focusing on this person. You want to keep that person. You know what I'm saying? So every team has a player that they want to keep, but they may have to cut. So it's a little different unless you go outside and you look and say, okay, unless you were in love with a player in the draft and somebody else, then it kind of plays around. Now you're like, that scout is looking for you, right? But if you're in a situation with like Gandy Golden coming from a small school on Liberty, right? And then you didn't get a chance to show anything, then it kind of, then it kind of gets to a point where no one really knows what you're going to do. And again, you may be in love with your own guys too, that you've been working in camp. There may be a wide receiver that you've been working with. You like him a lot, but you can't keep him on the roster. So you may want to put that player on the practice spot. So
what you just said is what I agree. I think there's too many questions, right? Yeah. There's too many unanswered questions. And I think that's why Washington wasn't willing to take the risk. And you made an interesting point about Cam, because I think Cam he's developed, maybe not at the rate that people wanted, but I feel like at least I pretty much feel like I know what I'm getting with him. Where right with AGG, I just don't know. And if I'm gonna take that risk, and I have again a quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick that's been around a long time, and we don't know how much more he has left in his tank. I need people that can support him right now, right here, that I can vouch for. And with AGG, I don't know if anybody felt comfortable just being able to vouch for him because the sample size was just too small, I think, for us to look at.
And then, the additions of definitely Dyami Brown.
That's what I'm saying. Like
I don't think anybody thought Dyami Brown was going to be available for this team.
And look this good.
I believe I believe if they felt that they could get him in the draft, there's no Curtis Samuel on this team.
I don't think so either. I don't
think you pay $12 million to Curtis Samuel per year. I just my personal opinion.
No, right? I agree. I think that we said it last week, Bo. The same thing. I totally agree. And then
you have Humphreys, who's the quarterback's handpicked, right? So you're already number 5 on the depth chart.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so to that point, to me, and I said this, I said this on Twitter. It really doesn't matter which wide receiver you're keeping. Like even in Cam Sims situations, folks, I debate about Cam Sims and AGG, right? Because I think AGG is better. Like I personally think AGG will be better. I think he will be better than Cam Sims. I think it's higher. But it really doesn't matter with this roster, though. It doesn't, because they're not, as much as people want to be excited about, say, oh, Cam Sims is going to eat, or the Dax, what's his name, the dude from BYU, the rookie wide receiver that made the team. They're not going to matter really, in the grand, unless injury. They're not going to matter because you're going, to Mo's point, they're going 4 deep already. You're going to have Scary Terry. Yeah, even Logan is tight end. Scary Terry, Samuel, Diami, Humphrey.
Backfield yet.
Yeah. So and McKissick in the backfield, Gibson. There's no place for those other individuals to really do damage as a receiver. Now, so it gets to the point of what you're going to do for teams. You know what I mean? As gunners or whatnot. You know what I mean? What are you going to do as a returner? What are you going to do for teams? But I don't think, when we look at the wide receiver position, all the debates the fans have, like, oh, this wide receiver should stay. Oh, I can't believe we did this. I can't believe this person's going to play. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be Diami's going to eat.
Yeah.
Scurry's going to eat. And Fitzpatrick loves Humphreys. And they're going to do things with.
They have that chemistry.
Yeah.
And Terry, I think Terry's going to ball out again this year. Because I'm sorry, he's been a disrespected wide receiver for a long time in the National Football Leagues. I feel like he still feels like he has a lot to prove. So like you said, I just think there wasn't space. And that's why, again, for the life of me, I can't figure out why people aren't talking enough about this Washington offense. Because if it clicks, like all of these names and all that we're saying, this is going to be a team, again, that's solid on both sides of the football. Yes, that defensive front is still going to be that big storyline, but
it's because of Fitzpatrick.
I know. I know it. But if he plays clean football, watch out for this Washington.
I know who he's going to say. It's always leave my man Fitz alone, man. That's the coolest dude in the world, man.
He is cool, man.
I want to meet that dude in life.
He is cool.
Listen, man.
Him to go to Jaspers together, man. That's how cool he is.
Listen, man. To be a Harvard grad, to go to Harvard and prove that you got that intellectual aspect, right? To go to Harvard, to be a late round draft pick, not expected to do nothing, to get 15 years out the NFL, man.
I'm gonna tell you why he cool as hell. That's cool too. But one, he went to Harvard, like you said, and then he went to Harvard, and he had brothers like T.O. that love him, Deshaun Jackson, all the dudes who ignorant. Loves this dude. That's what I know. This dude cool as hell.
He gets along with everybody.
Yeah, everybody love him. Like all the dudes, everybody love him. But even the ignorant dudes love him. Like even the dudes who will turn on you in a second love him. Like I'm like, bro, like you gotta be the coolest dude in the world.
When he put on Deshaun Jackson's tracksuit and his chains,
bro.
I told you I love Fitzy.
You gotta love Fitz, man.
It's hard not to like Fitzy, man.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like, if I was in the locker room, he my best friend. I would tell the coach, like, put my locker near him. We gonna geek.
And honestly, to that point, though, I feel like we're seeing like a happier Washington offense. We all know what happened last season with the quarterback situation. Yeah. But I feel like, and Ryan Fitzpatrick, I feel like this is just a different vibe with this offensive side of the football. And I think that's what Ryan Fitzpatrick brings. That's why you bring him, not only as a veteran, but I think he's a guy that, again, everybody loves like Ryan. Yeah. I feel like he's that guy that every girl could bring home and the parents are going to love him because he just gets along with everybody. He'll fit right in the family reunion. Like that's what Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, I know. I want to be potato salad. What kind of potato salad you like?
No raisins, Ryan.
No raisins. And not too much. Not too much mustard too. Some people go too.
Fitzpatrick can come to the cookout. You know what I mean?
He can come to the cookout, man. You know what I'm saying?
I've been to some cookouts too.
I bet you has. I bet you he has. You know what I'm saying? He look like he that type of dude. I'm sure he has.
We're giving you lots of love, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
We are, man.
We're believing in you this football.
I believe in Fitzy, man.
But honestly, to that point, too, I think Ryan
Fitzpatrick
has a lot to prove this season.
Because don't get me wrong. Like, he's a likable guy. I like Fitzpatrick. I've seen this movie already, though.
I'm saying.
Seen this movie.
But don't you feel like he has a lot to prove? Because to me, Ryan Fitzpatrick knows what he's playing on. He knows all that's being said about him. And I think this is a point in his career where if it goes well in Washington, I think he can kind of start to change that narrative that's been surrounding him this entire football career. Because we've literally given him a gift in Washington. I think, again, he has the weapons, he has the pieces, and now I think the task is on him to just prove himself. And especially, again, after a quarterback situation last year, I think Ryan is proving some stability here, some consistency here that we've needed, and a young team around him that I think can help make him look good. So if he can just bring his best and again play some clean football, Ryan Fitzpatrick, I'm telling you, he'll be a guy that he might be. No one will be beloved as RG3 in Washington, but he'll get a lot of love in Washington.
What you mean, like beloved, like in 1 year though? Because they turned on him real fast. You mean like 2012?
That's the thing about us Washington fans. We love you when you're good, but then when you're bad, like look, get out of DC.
I'm not going to get into that. That's a whole different. That's an argument in its own. That's a whole different thing. It's all right.
I feel like that's
like a half. That's a half. Our thing was like a half thing. It was like one portion loved him, and one. You know what? I'm not gonna say nothing. Not going to even go there. Not going to do it.
I just think it's a task. I think it's a task for a 15-year veteran. And like, I just think it's a task. Like you get ingrained in a certain way of playing. You know how you want to go out. That's why he's so beloved. Like he's comfortable with himself. He knows what he is. He knows what he is not. Right. Yeah. And he gonna play that brand of football regardless.
And he should.
And because he's very, very smart, because he's very, very good in the locker room, because he must be an exceptional leader, he's always going to find himself having a job. He's always going to find himself having a job.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't want him to change. I'll say it, but I don't want him to change. I don't. I don't. I want him to have a good time, throw that thing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, throw that thing up. I got Scary Terry on my fantasy football team, so I didn't even throw him. Just throw him up so he can get some touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? I'm just all for it. Listen to me. I'm for the Fitzpatrick experience. All right, look, fans who don't like him, I know there's a lot of y'all who don't like him, who watch this show. I'm for it. I am all for it. I'm for the lifestyle. I'm for after games rocking the chain. I'm for all of that. Like, I'm for all of that. Even if he played bad, I'm not going to be like, hey, bench him, Taylor Heineke. I'm not for that. I'm for Fitzpatrick week 1, week 2 press conferences. I'm for all of it. I want all the press conferences. That's what I want.
You're the ride or die for Fitzpatrick.
I'm riding. Yes, exactly. Put my chips on Fitz, man.
All right, we're going to remember that too. The whole
remember
it. Y'all. He just
I'm
said
going to stay
right
consistent.
Here.
Put my chips on Fitz. That rhymes. Put my chips on Fitz. It's a slogan. We're going with that.
Hey, man. For the people that just joined us, man, you tell them what they're listening to and who we have here with us.
Oh, thank you, bro. You're listening to All Burgundy and Gold Errrything with the Urban Sports Team. Right now, we are chatting with award-winning reporter Kelsey Nicole Nelson, host of Listen with KNN. Mo, I'm proud of you, bro, because you growing on me, man. You talk like look at you, man.
That was a smooth transition.
Mo, look at us. Mo, look at us.
Hey, man.
Look at us, Mo. Look at us.
Maybe, you know what I mean?
Look at us, Mo. Look at us. Look at us. I'm going to sit back. Go ahead, Mo. Go ahead. Do your thing.
Hey. So for those of you guys that just joined us, we've been talking Washington football team cuts, right? So after all of these cuts and folks that made the team, which remaining player are you most happy for, Wole?
For me, I am most happy for. I mean, local.
I think it's clear cut.
It's Patterson. I'm Patterson. I'm happy for Patterson.
Yeah, from the area. Kid.
Yeah, he's from the area. I mean, play ball in Laurel. At Laurel was a Pilates, playing Pilates. Yeah, so I'm happy for him, and I was scared for him. I'm not gonna lie, because the last preseason game, he was dropping a lot of footballs. Yeah. So I was like, oh shoot, did he get comfortable? You know what I'm saying? Did he get comfortable? Are they gonna cut him off of this? But he's a guy that I'll say it again. I feel like he's the most talented, gifted running back in that room. And I don't care which running back in the room. Mm-hmm. Forget the measurables that we were talking about, height, build, or whatever. I'm talking about running back. When you look at a person who can identify the holes and running lane, set up blocks, he is the best running back on that roster. So I'm happy for him. Hopefully, I'll say this too, and I say hopefully, but if anybody, for any reason, is missing a game and he has to step in, be scared. Be very, very scared. And that goes from the running back 1 in Gibson to McKissick in 2. Be very scared, because that young man will take your spot and you won't get it back.
Kelsey, would you agree?
Let me tell you, I love what I've seen from him, and I think he has such a high ceiling. And he's somebody that's just the definition of someone that played and earned that position on this football team. And I feel like that gets you respect in that locker room. So I'm also very high on him. I think also Reyes. I mean, I think, let's just be honest, I think his story is just like, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like, you think you're going to be an NBA player. You don't learn football till later. International roots, right? First Chilean born NFL player. Like, I mean, just his story is incredible. And as a journalist, I love those stories. And, again, I think I'm excited to see his growth, but I think anytime you see somebody that took made something out of nothing and earned himself a position on a National Football League team, especially in Washington, D.C., especially with a coach like Ron Rivera, who's one of the most respected and beloved coaches. Like, I think that has to speak some volumes. I think that's somebody else that, just because of his story, and same thing with Jared Patterson, I love his story, but also what I think he can do. I think you have to kind of be behind that. I remember seeing the preseason game where there was the Chilean flag that the fans had. Like, that was special. That was like an incredible moment. And I think it kind of shows you, like, when life kind of comes full circle. And again, I think so many people can relate to him, just being an underdog, you know, being just kind of feeling like you're not going to be able to do something, but taking it and running with it, embracing that underdog mentality. And then look at him now. We're talking about him right now on this show. So excited to see what he'll bring.
Yeah. Those are the first two people I thought about, you know, right off the top of my head. Yeah. I'm going to go with Patterson because, you know, I've coached high school football in PG County and the surrounding areas, and some of the kids that I know him and Chase Young well. Yeah. So happy for his family. I know some coaches of his that were at Pilates with him. So happy for his opportunity going undrafted, but believing in himself and being the only person that the Washington football team picked up after the draft went a long ways to show that he had some game to him, right? And him getting that opportunity, be it against the third stringers, but him being undrafted, that'd be his caliber of people, right? His caliber of player, according to the organization. But showing out in front of those, and showing out in those first two games and affording himself the ability to have a slip up and still make this team, plus showing that he had some special teams ability. I think that really took him over the top right there, right? That made Peyton Barber expendable because he is in the mode of what this organization is trying to do. From everything from the offensive line to look at the running backs. The running backs are very, very versatile, right? He might have the least amount of hands out of the three, but he's the most instinctual runner, right? Him showing that he could do what he could do on special teams just added to that what it seems like the theme of this team is versatility. The offensive line, everybody is interchangeable. The defensive line, everybody can play on the opposite side. The backers can play one of each other's positions because they all have either played a position in the defense or have the ability to, right? With Jamin leading, and then the DBs, you have 4 DBs that can play safety. You have another 3 that can play the slot. You have your 2 that you're going to put on the boundary, right? That you know for sure that you're going to put on the boundary based off of their game, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Washington football team comes out. I want to see this first game against Justin Herbert and company, matching up against a premier receiver in Keenan Allen, and their newly constructed offensive line, even though they're young, but they're being led. And I know they brought in Lindsey from Green Bay to man the front and as a center, but they also got Slater in the draft. So I want to see. It's going to be a great matchup early on. You're going to face a high caliber quarterback. So Washington football team wins that first game. It's going to be a lot of hype in the city going into that Giants Thursday night game.
It's a great test for them. I think it's a great test for them week 1, honestly, just because looking at that offense and our defense, right? I think that's when the two are going to be put to the test, right? Everyone's talking about what they're doing over there. Everyone's talking about our defense. And so again, I think this is why when you look at the cuts that were made, they're really looking for guys that can have that next man up mentality. And I think that's exactly what we saw from Jarrett. And that's why I think we're all so excited. He made the most of his moment. And again, I think he has a very high ceiling. So I feel solid with what we have in the backfield.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So with these cuts, is Coach Rivera practicing what he's been preaching in terms of competition? Like, you know what I mean? When you look at some of the results of these people who made the team, do you like, okay, this is the result of true competition?
For me, I would say yes. I would say, you look at what he said during training camp, and look, of course, coaches are always going to say one thing, and then you look at maybe the final roster, and you're going to be like, look, what happened?
Yeah, what happened?
But I look at Ray. I'll give Reyes as the example. He talked about he might be one of the team's most physical blockers. And, I think when we look at, especially the tight end position, I don't think people give credit enough to what tight ends have to do in football games. And I think that was something where, he really looked at it. He looked at his development. And I think he's somebody, I think that, again, when you look at what he's done, I think we did want to see a lot more development from him. But I do think Coach Rivera was really looking at people who he saw growth from, somebody he really saw growth from. It's not reverting backwards, but anybody that kind of stepped up. And so I think overall, again, you're not going to fully agree with everything, all the decisions that the coach made. But overall, I would say the guys that I think kind of stepped up and had some type of glimmer or spark in training camp or a preseason football game found themselves on this final roster of this football team.
Well, what do you think? Do you think he stayed true to what he said?
Absolutely, man. And I'm. If you don't remember nothing that I said from this show, let versatility be stamped across my forehead.
Obviously, man, you've been saying like 100 times, man. I feel like I'm with the Sesame Street. This is the word of the day, versatility.
Listen, man. I've never coached past the high school level. I was a walk-on college football player. You know what I mean, for a year.
Praise that, bro. That's an accomplishment. Don't make it sound like
it is. I'm just like that's not easy.
Don't. Why are you shortchanging it? Like, don't be doing that crap. What you want to do is shortchange yourself, bro.
You know, when I start feeling good about myself, you know, that it come out too much, and then I got to say that I didn't even get in the game. You know what I mean?
Go ahead, man. Continue what you were saying.
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead.
When I look at it, versatility is king here, man. Like he drafted players that can play in multiple spots. Yeah. He brought in players that can play in multiple spots. He let them compete, and then he took those that will fit. There's a couple of questionable ones like Jimmy Moreland. Even Reeves is a questionable one because he came in and played. He came and played the free safety at an adequate rate. Plus, he was giving you special teams benefits, right?
And he was getting special teams.
I think there was a confidence there that they can retain them on the practice squad in case somebody gets hurt, and those players will be right back in the saddle, right? So him retaining them on the practice squad is almost like as if they didn't get cut.
Yeah,
right? It's almost as if they didn't get cut, right?
Reeves.
So really, at the end of the day, it's only just Jimmy Moreland at this point, right? Yeah. You brought in McCain. McCain is going to have a big imprint on this defense because he had one on Miami. He was highly rated last year too. Mm-hmm. So you look at another, like we were talking about Samsis earlier, right? You look at that position. He kept the rookie, kept Samsis. So that meant automatically he had to keep Ricky Seals-Jones, right? Because if something happens to Logan, you need an experienced guy in there
to play. Yeah.
You can't have a rookie and a kid that don't know how to play the sport yet.
Yeah.
Right.
So a lot of things added up. And some of the things are insurance policies. Versatility and insurance is all he wants right here.
Yeah.
The true definition of depth, right? The true definition of depth. Remember what we told you earlier in the year, sustained excellence. You have to crawl before you can walk. You have to walk before you can run.
That's factual.
These Boston football fans have to stop trying to fly.
I ain't flying. I'm not flying. I'm just saying, Jimmy. I'm look, man. All right, no way. My eyes don't deceive me, man. It's one thing they never do. They don't deceive me. When I see trash on a football field, I see trash on a football field. So when a dude is getting burnt 24/7 on, you know what I'm saying, playing cornerback on every freaking bomb, and from what I've heard, the same thing happens in camp where on a big play from a wide receiver, it's always one dude getting beat who used to play safety that's now playing cornerback. And then that dude make the team. Y'all can use special teams all you want, but I know this: dudes who play teams, they may not be good at great at their position, but they're adequate. Like they're adequate. They can get beat by the best, but they're adequate. When you get beat by like third stringers on a regular, did you not see that Ravens game? Like that was the third string wide receiver. Like that was like the third string wide receiver giving that dude business on go routes 24/7, and he's supposed to be fast, bro. He's supposed to be fast. Like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
really?
The Ravens game did not help.
Really? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it like when you're going against first stringers, you're supposed to get beat. Like you can get beat. Second, you're supposed to get beat in a regular because you don't match up. But when you're talking about, and he been in the league for how long? That too ain't like he a rookie. He been in the league for a minute. Yeah, I know. You know what I'm saying?
Kelsey, I'll tell you, I know you know already. Well, let's fix it or something.
I'm just letting him rap. Look, I know that from the DMV. I'm just letting him have a moment to get it out.
I'm just saying, like I see what people I love it. People tell he played special teams. You know what? That's not the reason why he plays a lot more. I'm like, man, really? I coach basketball. I know when kids can do a lot. I know when people can do more. Like I play those people. But when they bad, when they can't help me do what I needed them to do, they sit on the bench and they sit there and they chill. Look, I'm just saying, I know versatility. You can't tell me nothing about versatility. I know what versatility is, man. One of my favorite ball players is Magic Johnson. He's versatile. LeBron James is versatile. I know versatility. Troy Aikman ain't no versatile dude. You got to be good. You know what? You're versatile. You know what? You're versatile because you got an inkling of some talent in each position. You're right. He's versatile. Inkling of talent. Like on each.
We didn't say he's great.
I didn't say it was great. I said inkling. Yeah, you're right. I said an inkling of talent. Like, look, Mo, look how small. Look, Mo.
You done did a cross sport reference. You done mentioned Magic. You done mentioned Brown. Over Troy Apke. That's how I know Troy Apke hurting your heart.
Know what? You're right. Let me not name great players. That's unfair, right? That's unfair to him. You're right. You know what? Magic Johnson, LeBron, I apologize. I apologize.
I'm about to say, name like a Josh Smith or somebody like that, man.
I can't even. You're right. I'm trying to think of you know what? I'm trying to think of a capable, versatile cornerback that can play everything and is decent and it's not really that great. I can't even think about it because no one's like a Troy Apke. He's original. He's an original individual. You're right. I apologize. Troy, I apologize. You made the team. You know what? I ain't gonna hate on you, man. You're getting a check. You're probably a nice guy. So
leave that man Troy Apke get along, man. Tell the listeners where they can find Kelsey.
I will. Mo, I got a tear in my eye because you're just making me so proud. All right, so Kelsey, thanks for being on the show.
Y'all are hilarious.
We appreciate you. Let our listeners know how they can find you on social media and what are some of the podcast platforms that your show's on as well?
Of course. Well, thanks again so much for having me. I feel like this went too quickly, but again, I guess time moves fast when you're having fun talking about the Washington football team.
Exactly.
But I'm on social media, The Real K Nelson, Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, Kelsey Nicole Nelson. Also check out my website, KelseyNicoleNelson.com. And then check out my show, Listen In with KNN, on all of my social media platforms, my Facebook, Twitter, my YouTube channel, which is just Kelsey Nicole Nelson, every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time and every Saturday at 2 p.m. But tomorrow we're going to do a special show at 3 p.m. Eastern time because we've got Amari Bailey and we wanted to make sure that he's able to come to us right after his classes. All right. Finish his classes and come right to the show. Awesome. So if everyone joins that, and then also check it out on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. Lots of great episodes that we release. 3 new episodes every single week. So I promise you.
3.
Definitely want to check it out.
Okay.
I've been working hard. Look, I've been working hard, fellas.
Look, man, I told you you work like a Nigerian. That's what's up. I appreciate the game.
I do.
Sorry. Yeah, man. Mo was certainly on. I apologize. So that too. I'm going to add that into it.
Like a West African.
Yeah, West Africa. You know,
all of us.
So all of us. We're all in.
We're
all in. Ray is like the one that's not, but he's light skinned, so he's close enough. I'm gonna try to bring him in.
Hilarious.
By association, because he went to college with me. He's like African by association.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Kelsey, you know what? You passed the test, so you'll be back on.
That makes me happy. I feel like one of the guys that made the roster now.
You made the roster. You made the roster.
More importantly.
What's up?
More importantly.
What's up?
I hope I pass the test so I can come.
There we go. Everybody passes, right?
Listening with Kanan.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yes. See, I need to have y'all on. Let me tell you.
I don't know what we're talking about.
All right, Mo, you passed the test, bro. Damn, look how dirty you are, bro. That's how you going? Oh, no, I don't care about Wole. I just care about me.
Look, he wants to come on. I support it.
You made the connection first, Wole. You made the connection first. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to hit follow.
There we go. Look at that. I'm gonna follow you back.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let me open my phone.
I bring people together. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm like Martin Luther King Jr. I bring folks together. That's what I'm talking about.
Not Martin Luther King.
Not Martin Luther King. I have a dream today. Here's what I'm talking about.
Man. From the mountaintops, right?
From the mountaintops. Hey, also subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy, go everything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page, man. This has been a dope show. Appreciate Kelsey for being on. You've been listening to All Burgundy and Go Everything with the Urban Sports Scene on Fox Sports Radio, 96.9 FM and 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, 4 ages. You dig? Deuces. A mega. Lead us out, big homie.